Committee on the NRM Entrepreneurs League. I also do have Merylyn Kabugho. She is a politician. She also did vie for the woman MP seat for Kasese, and she's still contesting the results in the NRM tribunal. Verdicts are coming out until Friday. She'll be letting us know whether she is one of the victors in that regard. But the conversation, elections, and the impact on the business community. Mr. Phillip Kakuru, very good morning.
Good morning to you, Ramil.
Good morning, Merylyn Kabugho. Merylyn Kabugho. Indeed. Let's kick off with the geopolitics. Businesses must anticipate and recognize the geopolitical risk that can affect their financial and risk strategies. So when we talk about political outcomes that may become violent and so forth, what would be the outright impact of such political contestations on businesses in Uganda?
Thank you to the viewers and good morning. Actually, when you look at politics and business, the two are intertwined. Some businesses actually thrive during the political season, and others probably don't fare well. For instance, if you talk about printing, the guys in the printing industry are making a killing.
Indeed.
The guys who are in importation of some specific items are making a killing. So to them, they are looking forward actually to the political season. Unlike thinking that everybody, when you look at people who have hotels, they are holding meetings. They are making a good killing because delegates are in meetings, conferences are being utilized right, left, and center. And sometimes I traversed across the country, you'd find you cannot even get a hotel venue because there's an LC5 holding a meeting, there is a member of parliament holding a meeting, so you find that there is a little bit of activity. The guys in the logistics business, transportation, they are really doing quite well. So it's not entirely to say that all businesses are looking like as if they are on a hold waiting for the outcome. So generally speaking, we need to see at which type of angle or which business you're looking at. So that's should be the specific conversation.
All right, that is Honorable Kakuru. Ms. Kabugho, talk to us about that, the impact of these elections on our businesses. How dire do you think it's going to be for us in 2026? Because we do know that in 2011, that is the former Bank of Uganda Governor Emmanuel Mutebile, he said his biggest mistake was investing in that 2011 election. 3 years later, he saw inflationary pressures that were taking center stage. Politicians were accessing money from central bank at a very lower interest rate and then making sure that that money goes to the public and causing inflationary pressures. Do you anticipate the same in 2026?
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning, viewers. For emphasis, I'm Kabo Merylyn. Yeah. Just like my counterpart has spoken about it, politics and business go hand in hand. A case in point, I'm one of the contestants for the district woman seat, Kasese district. And I really saw, you know, Kasese is at the border point of Congo and Uganda. And there's too much business going in there. And Kasese is one of the districts, for your information, that brings in revenue at a high level in Western Uganda. So what we're seeing right now, Kasese, okay, the election was not too much of it didn't have too much violence, but there are some pointers. We have people who come from Congo, the rich men, most of them invest in Uganda, in Bwera, Kasese, Fort Potom, Barara. So each time there is an election in the Western, people tend to run, people tend to withdraw money from the economy of Uganda.
Then
because
they revert
back. They first hold their money and take it back. A case in point, I have almost a businesswoman. I do business besides politics.
Yes,
I have my counterparts who deal in gold. You had just were almost signing a deal last month, but when they saw when they heard about it, I don't know who misled them. I'm trying to bring them back, but it's like they've made up their mind. They have withdrawn. That actually they halted that business deal until March next year. They want to first observe how will the election go before they bring in their money. And the big time investors that would employ a lot of people, a lot of Ugandans, that would also increase or add on the revenue of the country. So for me, I see it at that level here. We are there. Most people are using a lot of money, like the Kakuru's visa, you see, like the contest, the position of the chairperson entrepreneurship, it's like the whole Uganda is there. You see the big boys all bringing in money, they all have money. He's a rich man and the other contestants are rich men. So we are just anticipating inflation. That one you can't do away from it, depending on who is contesting or which people they are meeting.
Honorable Kakuru, of course, we did see a lot of money being poured into the 2026 general election. A simple LC5 aspirant spending 200 million Uganda shillings, that is over 64,000 US dollars. I mean, this is a recipe for disaster in 2026. If we spend all this money, the inflationary pressures that she's talking about, how do we keep this? We are getting information from the Uganda Investment Authority, Richard Byarugaba, of course, the caretaker. He says we can increase the interest rates at the central bank to deter politicians from going over there to get loans at a lower rate, and then we end up with money circulating among the population, and then the inflationary pressures that we are discussing take center stage. Should we increase the interest rates to deter this money we are seeing in this election?
I would differ with you, Comrade Romeo, that one way of inflation management, or there are two ways. It's either the fiscal policy and the monetary policy, but you are looking at it entirely on the monetary policy. The control of inflation, or what we call inflation targeting, should not all about be monetary policy. It could be even on the cost push inflation, the cost of goods and services. How can it be when people have a lot of disposable income? So there has to be a balance, that the too much money in circulation should not inform the monetary policy review committee of the central bank to increase interest rates. Not entirely, because sometimes the disposable income within the public hands sometimes boosts growth. Because there is a lot of demand, for example, for tourism, for services, for the goods. So there is already in the circular flow of income. So inflation targeting or increasing interest rates might not depend or entirely lead to the reduction of Now, what ought to be done? There is a need to strike both the fiscal policy with the monetary policy balancing equation. This is just a 4-month season that we are talking about. And what needs to be done is regulate the printing. For example, the Reserve Bank the central bank could look at the printing of currency, because sometimes the chupuli comes in most of this time. So there should be increased strict monitoring of currency. There should be control of how, for example, if I were the tax man, I would try to look at audit books of some of the individuals. You create some scarecrow technicalities, but you don't necessarily need to increase interest rates at a time of this nature, because the economies are struggling. There is economic tariffs from the United States. There is trade imbalance, like she has said, the regional trade, the traders from Congo have taken away the money. So now when you increase interest rates, you're going to create a dire situation in the economy. So we must create a balance between the fiscal and the monetary policy. But I say that not entirely the monetary policy control by increasing interest rates that can lead to reduction of the money in circulation.
I see. Thank you so much, Honorable Phillip Kakuru. We also do have a very, very important guest who has just joined us, Mr. Thaddeus Muscle, a politician. Thank you so much for joining us. He's also a business person. The business community is reeling. They looked at the primaries and there was a lot of violence, so they anticipate the same might happen during the official campaigns and consequently the election in 2026. So they instituted a strategy, wait and see. Maybe into Kati or bigenda kuononeka later. Should we invest now or invest later? Right now in Southern Sudan, you do know investment has gone down. Sudan in Khartoum, because of the fighting between RSF and the Sudan army, investment went down. DRC, the ADF, investment went down. So for Uganda's case, do you think this election and the semantics, the dynamics that are involved may lead to a reduction in investor confidence to invest in this country?
Thank you. That's the truth. In most incidences, during the election year, it's a little bit very tricky. It's unfortunate that the primaries for NRM, they had a lot of challenges and a lot of crashes. In the sight of investors, it can scare them. And they anticipate that maybe if the primaries can be like this, then what about the general elections? Personally, I participated into the primaries. And I experienced a very terrible situation. But on the side of the business community, because I'm also a leader in the business community, we need to make sure that how do we protect our image to the investors, because it can scare them away. I've been traveling to different countries. Let me give an example of Iran. When you travel to Iran, there is a way they can attract you to invest in Iran. There is a way that they cherish their country. Unfortunately, it's not the same here in Uganda. But we should protect.
But if I were an investor, I wouldn't put my money into Iran.
Yes,
the country being at loggerheads with the United States.
You're right.
Me looking at the uncertainties between Ayatollah and President Trump, I would never put my money
but there is something,
in Iran because of the
which we can benchmark from them. It's not,
what are they doing right?
What they're doing right is the way they're trying to market and trying to attract investment. Because also I participated in their expos. But you find that there are some things which we can benchmark here.
Like?
But what I wanted mainly to emphasize is that in Uganda also we can see that how do we try to protect the image of our country before the investors, because this is very key. But the moment we expose everything, these investors, of course, they'll be scared. And by that, even we have comrades who have already invested here just to try to investigate. When it's election time, they try even to shift to Nairobi or Tanzania. Even sometimes they reduce the money in circulation. And by the way, it affects even the operations of some companies. But that's why most of the Ugandans will say that, can we have a peaceful election so that the business interests are protected? Because business is very sensitive. There is nowhere an investor can invest in an economy where there is a lot of uncertainty.
Indeed.
That's why we appreciate the government. It has tried to emphasize that how do you protect the image of this nation before the investors? How do we protect the image of this nation? And we start being attractive, to be a very attractive investment destination, because that's very key. And we as leaders in the business community, we try to engage our partners to assure them that Uganda is stable. Uganda, there is that continuity. Uganda, even we can survive beyond elections. So that's why election violence is not necessary at all.
So some people are decampaigning their own country, Uganda,
by
releasing negative information to the international community who react later and they refuse to come and invest.
Yes.
So we should be like Iran, hold back some of that information. Even though we are arresting women for not wearing the head scarves, we shouldn't be reporting it to the international scene to scare investors. All right, let me also bring in Honorable Kakuru. Of course, the Uganda Investment Authority is very optimistic. That is Robert Akiza. He said in the last 35 years, it's been easy to predict investment in Uganda simply because of the stability or the stable peace that we have enjoyed in the last 35 to 40 years. How do we leverage on that peace to ensure that businesses continue to succeed under President Yoweri Museveni?
First of all, we need to applaud that the central bank has done a great job in terms of a stable currency. The shilling has been one of the stable currencies for the last 10 years in Africa, unlike some volatile currencies situation. So that provides investor confidence, for one, that I can bet that the shilling will be between 3.5 and 3.6, and that has been the trend, whether there's been elections or there has been an election, a government cycle every 5 years.
We haven't seen it go to 5,000 or 10,000.
No, we've not seen that level of volatility.
It's been stable.
It's been stable. That is one of the things that provides investor confidence. Secondly, we've had one stable government. You were mentioning Sudan. You've had one stable government that we are very certain and guaranteed that come 2026, the same President Museveni is the same gentleman leading the government of the Republic of Uganda. So you have that political certainty. In terms of policy, you are sure that Uganda is leading in clear policy framework. The NDP4, for example, shows you that Uganda is 2040. Now, a volatile economy cannot show you that level of prosperity. That's why we talk about prospects. You are sure you're seeing a government in planning that we are talking about 2030, 2031, 2040, NDP 40. When you look at the kind of approach Ugandans are taking, you move around Kampala, you see a lot of infrastructure development in terms of buildings, except the roads. Now, what does this mean? It talks to what Robert Mukizo of the UAE was talking about, that people within the region are seeing certainty. Unlike some of our neighboring countries, when you look at Kenya, when there are elections, you expect what? Riots, protests. You look at so you cannot compare us in the election cycle with the kind of protests in Kenya. So therefore, I am very confident, and I agree with Comrade Robert Mukiza, that indeed Uganda Investment Authority, we are projected that we get better investment avenues. For instance, when I look at northern Uganda, you look at the airport in Kidepo, you look at the oil refinery projects, investments that are going in there, there is really hope that we are on the right track.
Well, of course, the Uganda Investment Authority shares that optimism, but then the Uganda Securities Exchange leader, that is Richard Byarugaba, he does say that we need to do more.
Our Securities Exchange, let me say something there. We are one of the countries in its infancy in terms of Securities Exchange. How many companies do you have on the stock market?
Well, you do have the financial markets that have been stable. Richard Byarugaba says the financial markets have been stable, they've not been rattled. Like you did say, the dollar has been maintained. But what about the issue of the commodity prices going up? Every election cycle, food, commodities, the prices go up. So now the issue is not the financial markets, the dollar going up, but now the prices.
The cost.
How do we handle
now
that?
You are talking about the cost push effect in the domestic arena. What causes that? Every Ugandan, when you go to the village, to the sub-county, to the district, everybody's in electioneering. People have left the gardens. You understand? So who is to produce the food?
Indeed.
So that's what causes this, because everybody has become a political animal. Yeah, so that is the cause, because people are not engaged in productive agriculture. Everybody has gone for the quick buck in politics. So that is the issue why the commodity prices have gone up.
Do you share the same sentiments, Merylyn, that the commodity prices have not gone up because politicians are accessing money at a lower interest rate from the central bank, but simply because good people are focused on an election, they are not going to their farms to till the lands? What would you attribute the rise in commodity prices to in every election cycle?
Thank you so much. Just like he's speaking, we see most people have left their either jobs Some of them have traveled, by the way, from overseas to come here and observe the election or benefit from what they call the free money. Free money from politicians, free money from government, most especially NRM.
The danger of that free money, that's what we are here to throw.
Everyone is quitting.
When it circulates within the community, what is the danger of that free money?
Free money.
On our commodity prices and so forth.
One, like I was speaking, by the way, they will agree or disagree with me, that one, we must expect inflation. That is one thing. You like it or not, we are going to expect that. You can see from the primary elections, just buying, people even from lines on lines, and that shows you what is going to happen ahead. Now that people are not...
could it be the reason why you lost? Because you didn't indulge in
I didn't lose. Please, I didn't lose.
Over-commercialization of our politics.
No.
That played a part?
With money or without money in Kasese, Merylyn, you can just pick your phone and call someone in Kasese and ask about Merylyn. And then you'll know the person you are seated with right now. You just know that you're seated with a sweetheart of Kasese.
Indeed.
The people's choice. So me, with money or without money, I'll still go through. People love me, and I'll still go through this election. So that is no doubt.
We are waiting for an outcome.
Go ahead. I'm just analyzing this, just a general analysis for maybe the region, and what I found out at the tribunal. Everyone is just crying the same money, violence, favoritism, corruption, altering of a lot of stuff happening there. So as for me, we are going to continue seeing this. And now that people are not even productive in their offices, at their workplace, in their garden, we expect the best or the worst. He said we should not anticipate negativity to scare away investors. We should keep on everything, we should keep it at home.
The money politicians are throwing around, do you think it is being used to bribe?
Yeah, definitely. That is bribe. Why would you give people money to? But also money is part of the game. He was speaking about
money is part of the game.
It's part of the game.
We are
in Uganda, of course,
that the election is highly commercialized.
Just like someone is saying that some things we need to keep them to ourselves. But reality is reality. Those things are happening, and you can't keep away from it. You need to use money at a minimum of 1-2 million per day.
What happened to the manifesto? What happened to convincing people that, you know what, I'm going to come,
in primaries,
I'll build a school,
in primaries,
I'll build a hospital? What happened to all that?
You wait, in my village, someone tells you, anyway, to those ones who show that they have the money, people are waiting to eat it. But for me, I don't have it, and they never asked money from me, and they voted me. But I got 65,000 votes.
But as a leader, are you concerned with this modus operandi where money is the tongue or language being used?
But they do have even a manifesto. We have a manifesto which was general, that everyone else was speaking about, schools, roads, everything. Same thing.
Yes.
But then there is something that sparks off. But also at times they eat your money and they don't vote for you. That is one thing. They will eat your money and they will never vote for you. So it's just luck and the way you use your money and who is using the money anyway. But that one, we can't run away from it. And also to respond, or just to supplement on what Mr. Kakuru chairman, incoming chairman, was talking about, that the high interest rate in the bank cannot affect inflation. No, they cannot cause inflation. Do you know that there are some people...
But it can deter a politician from going to the central bank to withdraw 200 million to come and give it to Romy Busiku's community.
Do you know that people already withdrew 600 million, 1 billion 3 months ago? And they're holding that money and they're keeping it in their houses.
Waiting for the day.
Waiting for that day to buy voters from that lines or from the election. So whether you increase your interest rate at this moment or you don't, people already have the money. Money is already in circulation.
So it is a public secret that we are entering an election cycle, but we are simply buying votes. We are not trading ideas, we are not trading manifestos.
No, from what I saw in Chad, from what I saw in primary election, the truth is the reality.
Thank you so much, Merylyn Kabugho. Very compelling details right here on Morning at NTV. Thaddeus Muscle. Wow. Do you think the Ugandan government and Uganda's democracy has provided a sustainable or favorable political climate to sustain our businesses?
To a certain extent, it has
Break it down.
The fact is that, first of all, I need to comment something about access to finance. We as Kasita leadership, we have a serious concern with access to finance. The interest rates are unbearable. And by the way, and most of the politicians, and yes, most of the politicians, they don't use banks. They use money lenders. And that's why after elections...
Only the central bank and money lenders.
Most of them, you find that after elections, their property is being auctioned. Because they invest a lot, like my comrade has said, there is investing there is investing in the voters, and they don't trust you, so you end up losing. But I need also to shift to what you had asked me. Yes, the government of Uganda has done a lot to make sure that they create a more conducive business environment. But before, we as Kasita, we used to crash a lot with government, and that's why you saw that there are so many demonstrations, closed shops, until the government realized that can we sit and engage the business community? Can we be partners to make sure that we try to create a conducive business environment? Let me give an example. A recently read budget, whereby we had to make sure that can we get a win from the government, where startup businesses can enjoy tax holiday until they break even. Yes, we had requested for 10 years, but also 3 years can also be of great impact to the business community.
3 years of a business holiday for the local
for the startup businesses. Secondly, even reduction on the taxes on garments and textile through engagement. Furthermore, you find that the way we engage more the government, it tries to create a more conducive environment. That's why on different committees at the Ministry of Finance, we are being represented. At the Ministry of Trade, we are being represented, so that our concerns and our challenges...
Are they the only concerns?
Let me give another example. We had a very big challenge with IFRIS, where penalties had affected all business community. And when the government intervened and the penalty were waived off, so it gives a breather to the business community. And
it also shows that relationship between businesses and the government.
Yes, through the engaging. When you engage stakeholders, when you value stakeholders, but that's what has really helped the government to understand our businesses operating. I remember during IFRIS, that's when the word Vayiribi came up. That how do you understand the Moyeribi? Why do you penalize someone? I don't have a product in my shop. I've gone to Honorable Kakuru to pick something, and then within the way you penalize me. That's the name of Kuyiriba came in. So that how do you understand the stakeholders? How do the stakeholders operate? But also we still have a challenge. Some taxes are so high. You find that we are losing our customers from Congo because the prices are unbearable. And our strategy was a recommendation. We recommended to the government, can you redesign and strategize Uganda to be a Dubai of Africa, where Congolese can purchase from here. But what they are doing, they go straight to China or Dubai. Sometimes they go to Kenya.
I understand.
So we need to make sure that the taxes are revisited and flexible.
Mr. Musoke, don't you think you would be better placed as a trader to join politics and be able to form these policies that can better help the business community?
I want to thank you.
Talk about the significance of traders joining politics.
I want to thank you so much. By the way, we made our commitment when we met the president at Kololo, that we as traders, we are going to fully participate in politics. Why? We got shocked that sometimes members of parliament pass unbearable policies which affect the business community without consulting us. Let me give an example with IFRIS. We used to sell a bottle of water, just 1,000, and you are penalized 6 million. Until Kasita intervened and we engaged the president, so that even currently, when you see in the new budget, the penalty was really revisited and reduced. So if you are supposed to pay a tax of 500 shillings, you're supposed to pay like 1,500. 500, which is understandable, but 6 million.
All right, thank you so much. Let's wrap up this conversation with some final talking points from Honorable Kakuru on what needs to be done. What are you bringing to the table when you win the chairperson position for the SEC Entrepreneurs League? What should be done to harmonize the relationship between the business community and the politicians within the NRM government?
Actually, my approach to this issue is bigger than what you just raised, that it's business entirely. This is a structural problem that we need to address, from a youth unemployment to women inclusion in business, to access to finance, to reduced government rates of borrowing by the central bank to commercial banks and subsequently to the business person, as well as a regional focused approach growth. For example, if she's from Kasese, as she has mentioned, we must have a clear policy framework that looks at Kasese that trades with DRC. Is it eggs? Is it cocoa? Is it then? If we go to the Bunyoro region, we should look specifically at how do we help out with preparing the Bunyoro to tap into the oil sector. Is it accommodation? Is it training the young people into the skills? If we are going to Karamoja, is it training them on how to work into the gold plant mining? Is it setting up the leather factory? If it is about Western Uganda, is it setting up a milk processing facility, or it is about a feedlot to support beef production to sell to Congo? So it is a regional sector growth targeted approach.
That is Honorable Phillip Kakuru. He is waiting for those elections on, that is August 25th up to the 27th.
Yes.
Indeed. So that is it for Morning at NTV with me, Romeo Bosiku. Time is first spent. I was here with Mr. Musoke, Honorable Kakuru, and also Merylyn Kabugho. Thank you so much for sticking around for this conversation.